So today we're talking about how to manage stress and anxiety in everyday life. So, of course, none of the articles that I put on Ko-fi are super duper long, but they are meant to give some practical tips that aren't, professional kind of advice, but just things to keep in mind throughout your day. Michaela said I put my computer on a folding table so I don't have back pain and so I have more room. That's good. That's good. Yeah, make sure to take care of your back. Stretch, move your body around. Movement is so important for back pain. I deal with pretty chronic back pain myself, and I find that I really need to correct my posture throughout the day, and that really helps a ton. I also do a lot of core exercises to help my body a little bit, and I've been trying to do more yoga and to stretch myself out. It takes a lot of work for my back to feel okay, but today it's not that bad. Actually, today I feel okay, which is nice. Maybe the stuff I've been doing is actually helping. So I hope you take care of yourself. Make sure you stay hydrated. I am an old lady. It's so true. I am an old lady. You're not wrong, damn boy. So, first off, let's just talk about stress and anxiety. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has stress and anxiety. If you want to raise your virtual hand, if you experience stress and anxiety, you can do so in the chat. Because it's just so darn normal. I think we all have different levels of stress and anxiety. Some people really feel it much more than others because we all have different life circumstances, right? It's just so much that can happen in somebody's life that could be so overwhelming. And so it's understandable that you might have more anxiety than the person next to you. You might have less anxiety than the person next to you. But whatever you're feeling, just normalize it for yourself, validate yourself, and just realizing that these are all normal human states. So, when you're experiencing stress and anxiety, I think the first thing that we want to do is identify the source of it. If anybody wants to share in chat without, sharing too much detail, feel free to say anything that you feel like is the source of your anxiety. Lately, for me, I've been having some anxiety around food. I've been having anxiety around work. Dan Boy's having anxiety around me because I'm so stressful. And just daily tasks like cleaning the home, things like that kind of cause me stress too. So just a lot of things kind of pile up. I'm feeling pretty good about my friendships at this time. I think I get stressed out when I feel like I'm not giving enough to them, Yeah, Michaela, thank you for sharing that. I totally understand how that is a major stressor in your life. Absolutely. I hope that you are taking care of yourself the best you can, even though you're dealing with something that's so heavy. So, then we can go into effective ways to manage stress. Does anybody have any coping skills or ways of management that you want to share? For me, I really like to journal. I think journaling is my main form of relaxation, or not so much relaxation, but processing. Because sometimes I journal and I don't feel relaxed, but journaling and writing helps me process my emotions, helps me understand my mind on a much deeper level, and it's been something that I've been doing since I've been a kid. Michaela said survivor's guilt is another stressor for me. Oh my goodness, I know. Guilt can just be such a heavy feeling. Guilt is something that is just a constant stream in my mind. So I really empathize with you, Michaela. I obviously don't know what you're going through by any means, but I know what it's like on a small level to feel guilt a lot of the time, And when we have survivor's guilt, oh my goodness, that could hit us really hard. Even when we don't need to blame ourselves, even when things are not our fault. So I hope that you're able to use some of these things in this article or things that we talk about in the stream today to help you process that emotion and to validate yourself. I think when I'm dealing with a lot of guilt, I need to write about it and I need to talk about it with safe people. And we're going to get to a support system later on in this article, but getting safe people that you can unload to, or sometimes I just need to make like a confession, you know. Sometimes I literally go to church and have the sacrament of confession, and it just helps release some of the tension in my mind and in my body. But I know not everybody's religious or has those sorts of things, but I know that that is something that's helpful for me. So yoga is also really helpful, and meditation. I think that meditation is an underutilized coping mechanism. And it's not just coping like a distraction, but I really do find that it is really helpful for processing emotions, processing loss, processing how your day was like, and kind of able to help you get a mind and body measurement for how much something is affecting you in your life. Like on the days that I am able to sit down and maybe meditate or pray before bed, and I just go through my day and I try to soak in any positive moments that occurred throughout the day, even if they were really small. And then I think about the negative moments, the stressful moments of my day, and I just try and think about how that affected me and maybe what I can do differently moving forward. But the thing with meditation that I think is really hard is not judging yourself throughout that process. And that's probably the biggest difficulty that I have, because I am very hard on myself and judging myself a lot. And I think a lot of us do that. Probably almost everyone. I won't say everyone, but probably a lot of people are way too hard on themselves. And that goes right along with the survivor's guilt that you're talking about, Michaela. You know, being really hard on yourself can actually hold you back. So another strategy is making time for things that you enjoy. So that could be hobbies, exercise, spending time with friends and family. I think making time with my family, making time with my friends is so significant to my well-being. When I am socializing more, I'm a much happier person, even if it's online. Like last night, we were in Discord. I was in a Discord voice channel and just playing games with people, talking with people, and that could be just so helpful and beneficial to us. So making time for those activities and creating like just a space where it's going to be positive, where it's going to be fun, where we're going to just relax. I think it goes back to the one that's right before that. Relaxation techniques can sometimes be socializing. When I'm watching reality TV shows that totally make my mind numb. So maybe if you're in chat, you might want to share what are some activities that you really enjoy. Maybe it's playing a video game, maybe it's going out for walks, maybe it's seeing your best friends. What are some of those activities that you really enjoy? Let me know in the chat. Then I think the next one is super important, is developing healthy habits. If your sleep is not okay, you will probably not be okay. If you are not eating well, not getting your vitamins in, if you're lacking a ton of vitamin D, your mood is gonna tank. So wanting to make sure that your sleep is okay, your eating is okay, that you're moving your body and helping yourself feel alive and create energy. I think also another piece is avoiding excessive alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol is a depressant. It's going to depress the systems in your body. Caffeine is a stimulant, so it's going to increase the speed of the systems in your body and can kind of overexert your adrenal glands. It sounds like propaganda, dear boy. But those habits of heavy drinking or heavy caffeine and coffee use can actually be hurting you physically, therefore increasing feelings of anxiety, increasing the creation of cortisol in your body, right? And then we get more inflammation. So now our body's feeling stress and our mind's feeling stress at the same time. So developing those healthy habits while being very gentle with yourself throughout that process is really significant. I know you don't need me to tell you this. I know you already know this, but sometimes I kind of forget in a way to go back to the basics, go back to the healthy habits. So me being more attentive to my sleep and my nutrition and my movement, those are game changers to me, because if we don't have that foundation, then it's hard for us to process traumatic events, process difficult emotions. Well, you don't need any more cortisol. We talked about this a lot in our last stream, but one of the most effective ways to manage stress and anxiety is through therapy or counseling. If you want to head on over to my Ko-fi, I'm going to type that command into the chat, and that Ko-fi link will lead you to my different blog posts. And if you head on over to how to find mental health resources in your community, that post in particular, you can find different ways to find therapy or counseling through there. And also I did post that video onto YouTube where we went over the article kind of just like how we are doing today. And you could also listen to those resources as well if you don't really feel like reading. We also talked about medication yesterday in that post. A lot of people find help with antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications that are prescribed. Always talk to your doctor first. And even if you only use it temporarily, sometimes people only use those medications for a couple of months or a year, just to try and get over a mental health hump, you know? But everybody is different. Every body is different. So trying to figure out what works for you is really important. Sometimes no medication, sometimes having medication, and sometimes trying different medications to figure out what's right for you. You might have to try one medication and then another one and then another one to find what works with your body's chemistry, your brain chemistry. So I don't want you to feel like it's a bad thing to use medication. I don't want you to feel like you're losing hope if you feel like one medication's not working for you. But I think the combination of medication and therapy can be really helpful to a lot of people if that's something that you and your providers decide is right for you. Now, another big way to manage anxiety and stress is this guy right here, setting boundaries. A lot of our stress and anxiety can come from our relationships, our friendships, our family relationships, our romantic relationships. And if we don't set those boundaries, then we end up maybe enabling behaviors that actually hurt us. We might end up extending ourselves too far and forgetting to take care of ourselves. And so setting boundaries is just probably the most significant thing that I talk about with people and talk about with myself. And I have to say that I have gotten much better with all of those things. But it still needs work. Like in my job, I need to set a lot of boundaries, and that's something I'm thinking about a lot. Damn boy, what were you saying? Is watching NPC what? What do you mean? And so, how do we set boundaries sometimes? Say no to things that don't align with your priorities or well-being. Saying no is a powerful thing. It's just a 2-letter word, but it's so powerful. And it kind of goes back to enabling behaviors that you don't want, right? Or extending yourself too far. You might be taking on too much. You might be burning out. So saying no is a powerful tool that is hard to use sometimes if you really love to please people. So give yourself some patience and time to start saying no to little things. And then as you kind of take those baby steps, maybe you'll be able to say no to the bigger things. Danboy said, is watching NPC a way to overcome anxiety? Hopefully. Hopefully. I really hope to provide a really safe and positive place for people on the internet. I know we are just one channel in the bajillions of Twitch channels that are available to you. But I hope that this is one place where you can just hang out, get some solid information, talk to an awesome community, and connect with one another. Speaking of connecting with one another, the last tip here is building a support system. Maybe that support system includes your family. Maybe not your family, because maybe you've been hurt from your family and you need some space from them. Maybe your support system consists of friends in real life. Maybe it consists of people online. I know I've definitely gone through time periods in my life where most of my support was coming from friends online that I felt understood me more than the people in my life. And now it's really the reverse. I really have a lot of support in my real life, and I am connected with people online, but maybe not to the same level. And so it's just trying to find the balance that works for you. And I think developing these really lifelong friendships where you respect one another and you have healthy boundaries with one another. Sorry for my stuttering. I think that's what builds a healthy support system. Having safe people around you that you could vent to, that you could laugh with, that you have a similar sense of humor with. I think all of those things can be really healing, especially if you're coming from a place where you don't have that comfort and that encouragement. So once again, I just want to normalize that stress and anxiety, they're a natural part of our lives. We don't have to run from it. We could just take that in and find different ways to process it. So, if you haven't answered already, what are some of your favorite ways to help manage those difficult emotions like stress and anxiety? Let me know throughout our stream today, whatever comes up for you. Also, at the end of my Ko-fi post, I have some of my own YouTube videos that I published a while back that have some mental health resources for you. And that means coping strategies, things that I personally do to help fight my own depressive episodes, talking about tips to find time for the things that you love, the things that you're passionate about, tips to deal with anxiety and self-esteem issues, dealing with stress, and yesterday's stream and topic, how to find and access mental health resources in your community. Of course, this is not professional advice, this is not a medical service, but I wanted to give this for your enjoyment, and maybe this is something that you could refer back to when you're feeling lost. So thank you for joining that little segment. I hope it was really helpful. I'll be posting this onto YouTube as soon as I can, and that's it for that mental health segment for today.